UFP, the United Federation of Podcasts.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on the United Federation of Podcast Network. I'm your host for today, Chrissie, and joining me are my co-hosts, Brandon and Justin. Brandon, how are you today?
I'm doing really good. I'm excited to have 2 episodes of Star Trek in one day. What an amazing gift. I don't think this has ever happened. Aside from like the short treks when we had like multiple short treks drop in one day.
What do you mean
that's
ever?
Not quite the same thing.
I mean, at least in the same week in the 90s, right?
In the same week, but not on the same day.
I think sometimes would it be the same day, Chrissie? Do you remember? I wasn't watching.
Well,
that.
it was dictated by the channel that was showing the syndicated. So like for where I was, WSMH Fox 66 in Saginaw, you got them both on Monday night. No, wait. Mondays at 10 was DS9. Thursdays at 10 was Next Gen, or I have that reversed. Mm-hmm. And then on Saturdays, they'd show them both 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. Very local information. Anyway, how are you doing, Justin?
Honestly, oftentimes at the top of these episodes, I like to make a joke for something from the episode, but I'm not going to this time, and I'm going to be a little serious here because you talked, Brandon, about being able to see 2 episodes in the same day, and we can do that because we're in the U.S. and Canada, but for those outside of North America, found out just a few days ago as we're recording this on Thursday, that Discovery is being pulled from Netflix, and Season 4 isn't going to be available to people outside North America. We'll talk more about this, I'm sure, in the news segment, but I just wanted to acknowledge that at the top of the show because I'm, quite saddened by that we can't share Discovery, which we've shared, with the rest of the world for each of the seasons, within a day of when it's come out. So I'm feeling mixed. Like, I love this Discovery episode, but I'm sad that more people can't see it. So,
yeah, I got, I want to say on that, CBS, shame on you. This is a terrible thing that you've done. And I I'm not really online, but I've actually gone on to kind of see some of the things that people are saying. And there's already divisiveness in the fandom over this, because back when Discovery was originally announced, right, and they're like, we're going to have it on CBS All Access in the States and Netflix everywhere else, in the States, people were complaining that they would have to pay for another service, right? And so the rest of the world had it on Netflix. Canada had to pay for their own service. We have Crave. Right, but this is not quite the same thing. Yes, they're going to have to pay for another service, but this is 2 days before the premiere, when people have been hyped up and they've been hyping this, to just yank it away and give them no option. So this is not the same thing that happened in 2016, 2017 when Star Trek Discovery premiered. This is a terrible thing that CBS has done, and you guys should be ashamed of yourselves.
Yeah,
It makes no sense for them to make that announcement without following it up with, and here's how you can get Paramount Plus in your
we can
area.
talk about why this has happened, but that doesn't mean it's a good decision.
Money, dollar signs.
Yeah,
that's why.
That's it. Yeah.
But they should have at least waited until the other thing was in place, or at least announced this a while ago, so that people wouldn't be prepping their Star Trek party premieres, right, and then having to cancel.
The timing is,
people are. And people online are getting upset at like the stars and stuff. The stars have nothing to do with this, okay? This is all the executives at CBS, and this is just a terrible thing that they've done.
This is, at one point, HBO kind of proudly announced that Game of Thrones was the most pirated show ever, and I think we're going to see that overtaken.
Oh my goodness, no way. This show is nowhere near as popular as Game of Thrones. There's no way this is going to be as popular a now stolen show as it, but it will be definitely stolen. So
I think there's we'll see.
Anyway, I think we'll talk more about it on the news, but I just wanted to acknowledge that before we kind of go forward with talking about the episode. So yeah, and if you have seen the episode, whatever means you have, welcome. We'll be talking about it. If not, or you don't care about spoilers, we're definitely going to spoil quite a bit, as we usually do.
Yeah. Right. So speaking of money, before we jump into our topic for the day, we'd like to take a moment to thank
we're not
our
making
Patreon
money in the
patrons.
same way.
Money. Dollar signs.
Yeah, this is such a profitable business
was,
podcasting right here. Get my $0 volunteering, having fun.
That was just wide open. I couldn't let it sit. Right. We'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make this show possible, particularly our associate producer, David Willett, who has joined our Justin Oser of this show in that position. Listeners, we'd love to add your name to that list, and we can do that with your monthly subscription of just $10 at patreon.com/UFPearth. Also, don't forget about the Boldly Go project. Celebrate Gene Roddenberry's centennial by sharing what gives you hope for the next century. Go to boldlygo100.org or use the hashtag boldlygo100 to show us what makes you optimistic about the future. Now on to news, which is about Discovery being pulled off of Netflix. We can continue.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll add on to that. So, like I said on our 2 episodes ago, Prodigy. Mm-hmm. So I thought that the delay in the back half of the first half of the
the first quarter of the first season, I guess.
The second quarter of the first season, something like that. My father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate. That they would be delaying it to the new year so that people would have access over the rest of the world because they were happy with it. I'm guessing that when we get the launch in the new year of the other 5 episodes of the first half, we will also have Discovery around the world at that point.
Well,
but we just don't know what that date is.
I mean, let's talk about some of the details for this. So it's not going to be on Netflix, which is in 190 countries, almost every country in the world, right? So very, very accessible to a lot of countries. What's happening here is they're going to have, Discovery and, presumably Prodigy and other stuff on Paramount Plus, which is launching early in the new year in 20 countries, I think including the UK, Germany, Ireland, a few others, right? And then they're hoping to roll it out to about 45 countries by the end of 2022. But there's still a whole bunch of countries that have no option unless they really ramp up stuff. But, doing these deals country by country takes time. I'm sure it took Netflix a while to get into 190 countries, right? So, one of the things I think of about this is, I think what's happened is an unfortunate consequence of a decision that now Viacom CBS made in 2017 to basically, because I thought originally in 2017 when they were saying, okay, it'll be on CBS All Access here, it'll be on, whatever it is in Canada, Crave and the station you have there, and then
CTV
Sci-Fi, and then Netflix elsewhere in the world. I thought, well, why not just have it on Netflix everywhere, right? Because it's pretty accessible, pretty popular service. But I can also understand that they have to, they only get a certain percentage from Netflix. Although I think the original story was Netflix was kind of providing the money for a lot of the production originally for Discovery. But, they're getting a certain percentage from Netflix back on what the subscribers pay and all that kind of stuff, and they wanted to have more for their own service. I can understand how that's more profitable, but they've taken this approach of just and I think originally when CBS All Access was new, there wasn't much there. They've definitely added more over time. Now that it's become Paramount Plus, there's a lot more, but it's much better now. But still, they're competing with some huge players in streaming, and I don't know, I would have seen the approach that they just had it on Netflix everywhere, and until they could build up enough of their own content to make it really compelling, and then add Star Trek right away, switch it out right away. But now we're in this situation where they're kind of part way in their strategy, and so we're left with this terrible situation where a lot of people can't legally watch the show. So anyway, I just want to say that.
Well, I saw a YouTube video that said this was Alex Kurtzman's decision, and he has since been fired.
That's right. Yeah, it's I'm kidding.
But
I mean, the sad thing also for the timing for this, I mean, not only is it terrible that it's a couple days before the premiere, but I feel like now they're really hitting their stride in terms of what they're doing with Prodigy, what they're doing with Discovery, what they're doing with Lower Decks. We have Strange New Worlds coming and more Picard. So there's a lot of great stuff to look forward to. And in the middle of that, this thing happens that makes a lot of people upset. And even people like us that can watch it, it makes us upset because we're people that we've watched it with for all these years and like traded comments and talked about it with can't see it right now. So it's very upsetting to like land in the middle of all this great content, right? It's just kind of a downer in the middle of that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess we'll see what happens.
I think this will backfire on them a bit. I don't think this is a good thing.
I think there has been a campaign out there to boycott Paramount Plus and see if that can make. I don't think that would make much of a dent, but but
it's too late. Like whatever contracts with Netflix
are done, right?
They're done.
But I have to think there's been a strong enough reaction to this, and some of the actors have been tweeting about this stuff, and because they feel really bad about it, they want people to see it. They have nothing to do with the decision. I think Anthony Rapp was saying like the people at the company watch social media and they see what's happening. So I think there's enough of a response. They'll have to do something. It's not going to be like putting it back on Netflix, but I wonder if there's going to be something that they offer in some way to try to make up for it. I don't know what that is, but I would hope there would be something. I don't know. But anyway, I think we need to talk about this and acknowledge what's going on because it's a huge story in Star Trek this week before we talk about the Discovery episode.
Yeah, like streaming in general. Like, I mean, I know that nobody cared because it's just Canada, right? And every time I brought it up, people were like, whatever, because you can get it on TV. But I mean, like, I had it on Crave, which is streaming, and we did not get it for 24 hours on the streaming. It aired on CTV, which is all fine and dandy. But if I wanted to get that, I would have to pay at least $50 or $60 a month just to get cable because I literally did not have cable. And so they were already not dropping it at the same time. It was 24 hours later that Discovery was dropping on Crave, which is complete and total nonsense to begin with. So Canada streaming was literally the last place on the planet that was getting it. But everybody told me to shut up because we had it on air, right? So,
but on Netflix they would get it the next day, but you would get it even later because it would be later in the day, right? On Crave.
That's right. There was a specific time. Like Netflix around the world, they got it at like midnight, their local time or whatever it was. It was like frickin' 8 p.m. the following day. So, so you guys had it at midnight Pacific time on Thursday morning. Okay. It was not until 8 p.m. on Friday that we would get it on Crave.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Which is like 36 to 40 hours later. I'm not even thinking my math right now. Right. So it's been 40 hours spoiled online already. Right. So
no, I can like that. But like, I mean, I think that goes back to what I was saying before. I wish it would have been like all on one service around the world. Yeah. Everybody could see it at this, like whatever midnight local time is for them, which would be reasonable, I think. So, but that's not what they did.
Twilight Zone season 2 was on CBS All Access, but not in Canada. I don't even know who was streaming it in Canada. I had to download it because I couldn't find it anywhere in Canada.
Wow.
Right? I've got the Blu-rays now, right? So I bought them. But I mean, like, I couldn't find it to stream. It wasn't on CBS All Access. We have CBS All Access in Canada, but guess what else is not on there? Star Trek, right? Like, so like it's just a joke. I don't know, this whole thing's a joke.
It's one of those situations where like they're thinking about a certain strategy to make the most profit, but it's definitely come to a head at this point where it is creating some ill will that does not help their long-term profits. So it's not a good decision. Yeah. Anyway, I guess we'll see what happens. But but I'm also disappointed that it'll be on Paramount Plus in certain countries next year, but not all the countries that could watch it before. So
I feel like there has to be some kind of generation gap issue with this because I don't know, anybody under the age of 40 understands that the internet is the internet and you put it up and you allow for streaming and you allow for conversion from foreign credit cards and then you get on with your life. And it just feels like the people that are making these decisions are people who are. Larry Nemechek made a joke about it on Twitter about how they're still thinking about VHS sales.
I don't know if I would characterize it that way. I think they're thinking about it in terms of they want more revenue from their own streaming service, and this is part of that strategy, which has led to some unfortunate decisions. But I think they would like it if every country on Earth had Paramount Plus and people could subscribe it that way, but they have to do all of these deals country by country. And I've done some international business stuff, and those things take a while, which is why, like like I was saying, why not take advantage originally of something like Netflix that had already negotiated all of that stuff around the world, but anyway.
All right. Well, I'll bow to your better knowledge.
I mean, you could be right. I don't have any inside knowledge of what's going on at Viacom CBS, but
no, I realize, but I have zero, my type of international business is emailing somebody for their paper that they presented. So it's
every time you have to go into a new country with a product, no matter what it is, even if it's streaming, it's a whole host of like negotiations, and it takes a while. So, yeah. Well,
international listeners, we sympathize with you. We are, we sympathize with you, and we understand you accessing it. Whatever means you can access it. So,
yes.
Oh, okay.
Is that it for news?
Let's list something else.
That's it for news.
Okay.
Now that we go ahead.
Okay. So I want to jump into my thing here then, because this is going to derail the conversation here. Okay?
Oh, so you're going to derail it up front instead. Okay, great.
Right up front. Okay, so we're talking about the season premiere, and I'm going to play you guys an audio clip from the episode, okay? That this upsets me. Did you guys notice the new sound effect for the spore jump?
No.
It is just it's terrible. So I'm gonna make sure my
audio. I love the things that bother you. Like, we didn't even notice.
Is this going to be an actual thing, or is this one of your jokes where it's
no? This is an actual
like a fart
thing.
Noise?
Okay. So this new sound effect for the spore drive is like completely pulled me out of the episode. Okay, you guys ready to listen to this?
Wow.
Okay.
Jump.
Does that not sound like the Three Stooges?
I don't know what's going on with your audio, but it did not sound like that to me today.
I didn't hear that when I watched it either.
Okay, listen to this again.
Jump.
Yeah, I heard it, but that's not how it sounded to us.
Yeah.
Okay. I may have to rewatch it because I did not hear that. Did you hear that?
Did you hear
that, Chrissy?
I did not hear that at the time, but I tell you what, I can look right now.
It was 23 minutes and 19 seconds in.
All right, now I'm going to have to as well.
Oh my God.
It's there.
Hold on,
I
haven't gotten there yet.
Sorry, it's there.
Ad.
You mean you don't have ad-free?
I do have ad-free, but it gives me ads for Prodigy and other Paramount Plus things.
Oh, that, yeah. Okay. That's right. I forgot I was halfway through the episode when we started recording.
Hold on, now it's giving me the audio logo. This is so scintillating.
You're fine.
All right, let me go ahead to that. Hold on, I'm almost there. Huh. Wonder why I didn't notice that before.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going back right now, and I'm gonna glance through Context is for Kings to find the first time they
guys,
jump.
Let's not spend half an hour on this.
No, that's fine. That is the
not
stupidest
right
sound
now,
effect.
But yeah.
Oh, I could see that.
That is the stupidest sound effect upgrade I've ever heard in my life. That is just atrocious.
But it's funny that neither Chrissy nor I noticed it when we watched it today. Didn't notice at all.
The first time, my first watch of the episode, I'm like, what the hell was that? And then I'm glad I watched it a second time because I didn't write notes the first time I watched it. So the second time I wrote it down, and I literally wrote down WTF Three Stooges spore jump. Because that sounds like when they're like slapping each other in the face and stuff. Like, oh my goodness. Anyways, whatever.
Huh. That is the perfect sound effect for the GIF that Aaron Reynolds made for Swear Track, where it goes, "Oh, my nachos."
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now that you've got that out of your system, I could totally understand that. But somehow it was not annoying enough for Chrissy or I to notice until you told us. We did not notice.
And now you're going to hear it forever.
Now we'll never not
and
hear
you're going to be like, damn you, Brandon.
Now in the next episode, they will have realized that and you're using a different sound effect. Probably not. Okay. Reel us in, Chrissy.
That was an Easter egg, and the first person that figured out and complained about it on a podcast was going to win a prize.
Congratulations.
Okay, I don't know.
You get a year's supply of poutine.
Nice.
Okay, well, so other than the manipulation of sound effects, Brandon, what are your first impressions of the episode?
There's a lot of really great stuff in this episode, but the entire teaser sequence, man, I was rolling my eyes so hard I saw my own throat. Like it was atrocious. The dialogue was awful in that opening sequence. And all I can say is Star Trek Into Darkness did it way better. Okay, because that was literally the teaser sequence from Star Trek Into Darkness, and it was just this was just awful. But most of the episode I thought was really good. There's a lot of really good stuff in here, and I'm going to bring up some points on some things that I didn't like about Burnham in the episode, but I think that they're laying the work for some character growth here, and I'm looking forward to it. So that's what I think I saw there. So my only real negative thing is that whole pre-music sequence, pre-theme song sequence. So.
All right. Well, Justin.
Well, as happens sometimes on this show, I really loved this episode, including that opening sequence. I thought there was a lot of great humor, and it was a lot of fun. I feel like there was already, I think, somewhat of a lighter tone in the third season, but I thought there was a lightness of tone and people really, I don't know, just having some fun around what's going on, and I really love that. I do also think and we'll talk about it. I think it's fascinating what Burnham goes through and the conversations she has with President Rilak. And you'll have to correct me if I get it wrong because I'm still getting used to the name. But I love that interaction, and I've thought that she was a fascinating character as someone who's human, Cardassian, Bajoran, all of that. So, one of the things that I really liked about season 3 of Discovery was that we were starting from this place of disconnection and then getting toward a place of more connection. And this kind of furthered that. The Federation is growing. Starfleet Academy is reopening. So I found a lot that was really hopeful and inspiring for this episode. And I loved a lot of the character work. I really loved the episode. I really didn't have any major issues with it. So, Hey, Brandon, we're getting back to where we've been in the past with Discovery, but I really loved it. It was exactly what I wanted, actually. So, Chrissy.
Wow. Exactly what you wanted. That's pretty good. I enjoyed it. The opening sequence, I didn't feel like it was as connected to Into Darkness until the complaint. Like, why is there always a cliff?
I thought of Beyond, actually. I know it's a different kind of setting that Kirk is in Star Trek Beyond, but it's the same thing where it's like this misunderstanding going on. So I thought of Beyond before Into Darkness.
That's true.
But,
Well, it's the running through the woods to a cliff and then landing on the But
I laughed when she said, "Why is there always a cliff?" But
why is there always a cliff? And then Jay looks at me and goes, "That's hit on the Calvin timeline." I'm like, "Yep." But overall, I thought it was good. It was, I was glad to see Grudge again, and everybody else, of course. But got to see that cat.
Grudge causes like a diplomatic incident just by being herself.
Yeah, like I remember when people were complaining.
Diplomatic incident.
They caused the incident by bringing Grudge, and I remember when people complained about this when Archer did this with Porthos. Okay, like stop bringing your pets down to the planet, people. But seriously,
well, he didn't. She's on the ship.
Why is Book here? He's not a member of the crew. Why is he here?
I think he actually is a member of the crew. He operates the spore drive.
He operates
sometimes.
Yes, at least sometimes.
Once. Yeah. I mean,
I
don't
think
know.
He's remained independent. He's not Starfleet. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
that's right.
He shouldn't be
kind
there.
Of
She's sleeping with the guy, right? Like, but I also wrote on here, and it's dealt with in the episode. Why is Burnham down here for this? Okay, Burnham shouldn't be down there for this, okay? I understand, yes, Kirk went on every away mission, okay? But that was 1960s television, okay? And they addressed this in the 80s, that the captain should not be going down on these types of away missions, right?
That was like 800 years before. They might be doing things differently now.
They might, but it doesn't make any sense. It still doesn't make any sense. And the president herself says it. Right, but the president did, okay? The president did later on when she went on a mission.
Well, and I think that's part of what Burnham is going through and trying to feel out as captain, and she's going to make some mistakes. But
yes, good, that is right. But also, one other thing on this too is then just for getting all the problems in the intro out of the way. Why is the ship cloaked? Why is the ship cloaked? Why is Book's ship cloaked when it goes down there?
Why is it cloaked when he's down there?
Because they walk out onto it.
They do.
It's only to give the audience this shocking moment of why are they levitating? Oh, it's cloaked. That's the only reason they did it. They know where they're from. They know they're from the Federation. They know they came down there. Why is this ship cloaked? Like they sense the cat. They know the thing.
What the reception is going to be. It didn't bother me at all.
Awful.
Me either,
Awful.
but
All right. We're going to see a lot of stuff of the opposite. Go ahead.
I don't think so. I think that's it. I think
You
that's
think that's it?
So,
Okay.
I think that's it. Because I did.
we still got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. And for the most part, this episode was really good.
Okay.
So I think it made sense to a point of having Burnham go on the diplomatic mission. We saw Picard go on diplomatic missions in circumstances where it was believed to be safe. Was he the first person to go down there? No. So I think that's where the issue is for me. And then her getting in the worker bee, that was stupid. She should not have been able to do that. She's the captain. You delegate that.
But even if it's in a situation where the person with, and I'm not saying that this is necessarily the right decision that she made, but the justification is that she has the most experience doing this, and there's not much margin for error. I don't think that she should necessarily do it, but I think there is some justification there.
Okay.
She
since we jumped in.
Yeah,
okay. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to. She accused the president of trying to tick off a box of saying that she had this experience, right? And it kind of felt like I don't know. It wasn't really. I can't think of a good term for it other than forgive me, dick waving. But she was doing that to the president. Like, no, I can do this. You think I can't do this? I can do this. In the same way that she perceived that the president was saying, you think I can't do this, I can do this, when that was actually not what she was doing. So yeah, there's a not a rivalry. I don't have my words.
But am I right that this president is someone who was recently elected? Is that kind of the implication?
Yeah.
So I think they're both
that's
new at what they're doing and trying to feel it out the best way they can. That's the sense I got.
The impression that I got from this is that this president is so new that this is not the president that they were talking about with the Oser negotiations.
That's the sense I get as well. Yeah.
Which is cool. I think that's really neat.
Yeah, I do too. But you run into that. But what I mean, I guess what I'm getting at is that Burnham was reacting to what she perceived was going on when that wasn't actually what was going on.
Yeah.
And that I think that's going to lead to this growth. I think that we're going to get a lot of great growth. So I'm looking forward to this, okay? Because Burnham misjudged a lot of situations in this episode. And I'm hoping that's going to be the beginning of growth for this character. Because I don't like this character, but I want to like this character, okay? And I want to see her grow, okay? I want to see this growth, okay? Because she misjudged the president, she misjudged the situation with the worker bee, she misjudged the situation on the planet with the negotiations down there. So I mean, like, she's not flawless.
No,
okay?
she's not. She's not flawless. Everything does work out, but it could very well not work out.
Yeah.
Right. But I think, and maybe we'll talk about it more. I think we're getting to a place where Burnham can really look at, this thing where she feels like she has to save everyone, and that makes it hard to like make the tough decisions you have to make. So I love that. Like, one of the things that I really love about the Burnham character is there's a lot of complexity. She's not perfect. She's not flawless. She will make mistakes, but she's going to try her best and do some self-examination to do better. I love the character. I think there's a lot of great stuff there, but she probably makes more missteps than some captains we've seen in the past. She's new at it. She's trying to learn in a new time period and all of that. So I really like that there is all this complexity around her character.
You made me think of the thing in Unification where Picard's like, we won't tolerate, the Federation doesn't tolerate this kind of cowboy diplomacy anymore.
Cowboy diplomacy.
She's functioning in a 23rd century mindset. Please excuse me sounding like Donald Trump.
Maybe a little bit, but like, so one of the things that I think about in this show as well is, if you think about at least in your universe chronology, right? You think about Enterprise and they're just kind of like going out there and seeing what's out there in deep space for the first time. The original series that expanded somewhat, and there's a lot of Federation members, but there's still a lot of stuff that they're feeling out. In like the TNG era, it's expanded even more. It's a little bit, more formal in how things work, right? But I feel like where we are now is a place that is kind of somewhere between Enterprise and the original series, right? Like where you have this kind of early Federation growth. So I think in some ways it makes sense because they're trying to figure out what to expect, what will work and what won't. It's a lot less established than the 24th or even the 23rd century. But I really like that because I like, in a way, we've gone to the future, but we're going back to kind of the challenges of a previous time period. I really like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a couple of the things about that opening sequence. I'm sure, Brandon, you have seen Prometheus. I don't know if Justin has.
I don't think I have.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
the
yeah,
aliens, the first thing I thought of when I saw them was, those look like the Prometheus aliens.
That's fair. Yeah.
That was me,
Yep.
very blah, whatever. The butterflies,
don't
pretty
call
awesome.
them butterfly people. But yes,
I didn't call
it
them
looked
butterfly.
really cool. That was a cool concept.
Yeah, so that's gorgeous. And I love that even though there was kind of a ridiculousness with the diplomatic situation, it created an opportunity for the Federation, for Starfleet to do the thing that Starfleet's supposed to do, which is exactly what she was trying to explain to them. And so here is this thing you need. We know you need it. Here it is, and take that as you will.
Yeah, and I think they're justifiably mistrustful of it because they're like,
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. But at the same time, it's a beautiful example of like, hey, our society is post scarcity, and here's how we're going to help you come to post scarcity too.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I like that.
Right.
So since you guys mentioned it, I do want to talk about one more thing with the worker bee scene. So this is all based on playing it for laughs versus not playing it for laughs, okay? So remember back in season 2 of Star Trek Discovery when they played this for laughs? When Connolly, right, was the guy who thought he knew what he was doing, and then, it got turned into a gif of how this is what mansplaining is and whatnot, right? Because they made a joke of the guy, the stupid man thinks he knows better, ends up killing himself because he doesn't actually know anything. And so here we are. This is the exact same situation, and it's not played for laughs.
It's not the same
but
situation.
I don't think anybody's made a Burnham-splaining
it's similar in the activity, but that's
it's similar in the activity, but it's not the same thing. I mean, Connolly was basically being very arrogant about what he was doing, and he wasn't even kind of paying attention because he was so overconfident, right? And I think here, Burnham says, I'm the best person for this, and she's, flinging the debris away or whatever is the case. But I don't see her as having that level of overconfidence or arrogance that Connolly had. I don't think it's the same thing.
Because Connolly was written specifically for that joke to happen at the end. And us laugh at him when he dies. That's how he was written. Okay, it's all based on the character and the situation.
No, I can totally see that. And I didn't like the decision that they made because I don't like playing a death for laughs. So I didn't like that in season 2 of Discovery. But you're right. It is a different outcome for what they were looking for. But I didn't like what the outcome was in season 2 because I don't like to ever laugh at a death.
I do see what you're saying. They're presenting both of these people as needing to be taken down a peg.
I think Connolly,
or at least can be read as such,
was presented as being need to be taken down like 10 pegs, but
right, but
yeah, okay. But it's an interesting comparison. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, because there's literally no reason for Connolly to be this much of a dick when he came on the ship in season 2. Mm-hmm. It was all building up to his death, the whole thing.
No, I think you're right about that. And
except that some people just do act like that. But okay.
But see, I guess so my thought is by the time they get there are people who are like this, okay? But I mean, I hope by this point, most Starfleet people are going to be good. Yes, we got bigotry in Balance of Terror. Yes, there are weird examples here and there, okay? But I mean, that was written specifically to get the payoff of the death.
True.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's all. So.
Okay. So, after we had our new opening sequence, which had a new couple elements to it, which I thought was pretty cool.
Energy
they kept the
wave
Gormagander, which made me happy. Yeah. And the I don't know if it was an energy wave. I don't read music, but it appeared to be matching the tone. That's not reading music, but it
looks like a sound wave.
A sound wave, thank you.
I don't know. I'm sure it'll be revealed, but I don't know if we'll know yet. But
I felt like it matched the music. That's what I thought was kind of cool.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I didn't notice.
But I only got to watch it once, so I might not be right about that.
But yeah, they did add a couple things there. Yeah.
So then we come to the Kaminar Kaminarian governmental chambers. I thought it was wonderful to see the Baul there as
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I didn't expect that
partners.
either.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
I mean, we knew that there was this alliance, but it was cool that they were there, like part of the council. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know why. I guess I was just expecting for some reason that the Baul went away. Like, I don't know how I thought they went away, but I just assumed that the Baul went away. Like they left the planet or something. I don't know. So it just seemed like a surprise to me when they were there. And it was a great surprise because I loved that episode. I love The Sound of Thunder. That's my favorite episode of the second season. Mm-hmm. But, this plot, though, this is the plot that I'm most excited for this season. Just that one scene with Saru talking about the planet and whatnot. It's like, man, I want to see Saru in a diplomatic situation, and I hope we get that. But I mean, because like that whole scene right there was probably my favorite scene in the episode. Just the way he described it as being an island, and you got to think of yourself in the broader picture. I love it. It's
really great. I actually wanted to read from some of that because I think it was just such a wonderful way to put it. So he said, "Here we live, love, grow food in the light of our sun. However, it is not our sun. We share it with 6 other planets in our solar system, a system which is one of many in a shared galaxy. Beyond our galaxy, space. In truth, we are on an island together. We must ask ourselves, do we honor our interconnection, or do we curl inward like a leaf pulled from its tree? After the burn, that is what many chose. But this is a new era, is it not?" Like, I love that. It's just like such evocative language. It also made me think of something like galaxies were originally called island universes, which is a term that I really love. Like, there are these islands that are just kind of all connected together out in the midst of, the darkness of like intergalactic space. But like, yeah, I love when they write Saru this way because he can be very like poetic and empathetic, and it was wonderful. I love that scene too.
Yeah.
It made me think of something too, because like when we come to elections and stuff in our country here, like we just recently had one in Canada, and CBC offered like an app where you could like answer these questions, and it would say, this is how you should vote. It's based on your personal values and whatnot. And I literally was 50% for like every party. Like the highest was 53 and the lowest was like 48 or something like that. Like I was smack dab in the middle of everybody, which I guess explains why I'm generally not too upset with whoever's leading our country, right? Because half the time I agree with them and half the time I don't. Okay. But, one of the things that one of the things that I kind of like has kind of been important to me, and this speech by Saru actually made me internally reflect on this. Like, to me, I think that an important thing for our country right now would be reducing our foreign aid spending, because I think our country needs development and we need to focus on our country. But then this speech by Saru was like, maybe we should stop thinking of ourselves in like these border terms and focusing on the grand picture. It actually made me start to think about that for a minute. And, I loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah. I think that can be Star Trek at its very best, making you really reflect on these things in a way that you haven't before. Like it was, just also thinking about, on our own planet, we're divided into all of these countries and all of these groups and all of that. And in the meantime, you're seeing someone like Saru talking about the galaxy itself being interconnected. That's just so inspiring and amazing. It just puts it on like another level than thinking about, the Earth or your country or your town or your family, right? I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. That is Trek social commentary at its best, and like quite literally too, because you could replace the words planet with country or state or continent, and give the exact
or
same
galaxy
speech
with
and just
Earth.
keep it.
Yeah. But
so
you know what?
I
want to point out something I really love as well, which doesn't happen enough in Star Trek, where he is talking about, our sun, but we share it with these other planets, right? And I'm thinking maybe that means some of those planets are populated, but it's a really great thing we often don't think about, right? Like that even our solar system, it's shared among other, planets, and we still don't know. It's possible there might be life somewhere in our own solar system that we share. So I just liked thinking about that. Well, there could be like microbial or tiny life on, a moon of Saturn or something. It's still possible. But.
Yeah. Titan? I mean, there's liquid water on there, so. But, right. Yeah, we don't often get systems that have a lot of inhabited planets, at least that aren't like colonized by whatever group we're talking to in the first place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's probably
unless it's a story.
There's a good reason for that, because a lot of times, like the habitable zone where life as we know it can live only tends to encompass a couple planets in the solar system.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, like I think we've gotten a few places like I think the Rigel system has a lot of population.
It's like 8 out of the 10
something
planets.
like that.
Yeah.
And even the Bajor system, I think, has multiple planets.
Romulus and Remus.
Yeah.
Well, the ones in Bajor are all inhabited by Bajorans, so that's colonization.
That's true. I was just thinking of populated at all, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
And then there's, that particles of preanimate matter on SETI Alpha 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Hoping one of you guys would say this is SETI Alpha 5. I was just
not going to give you the...
I'm sorry.
After the way you talked about that opening, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction.
I'm just going to blame Tired. It was Star Trek at its best is commentary on whatever is happening in society at the time. And it was very much an argument to not be isolated.
Yes.
Which is assuming that this was written... Well, yes, we know it was written in 2020 or thereabouts, okay, that was a serious issue. It continues to be a serious issue, even with a different American administration, because there are still a lot of people who believe in isolationism. So it was a perfect example of what we were talking about, Brandon, is that it made you think about it, and that's the idea. And then later, let me see, do they talk about it's the president that talks about reducing dependence on dilithium, right?
I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just, dilithium is oil, fossil fuels, always in these analogies. So I thought that was excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, like I work for a company that produces steel that makes majority of the stuff we make is pipelines, right? And I mean, while I think that pipelines are the best way to transmit oil, I also am a person who believes that we need to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels, right? Like they don't have to be mutually exclusive. Yeah. You can believe both things, and the president's like that. We need dilithium, but you know what? We also need to reduce our dependence on it because it's destroyed the Federation over the past 125 years by not having it.
Not to get ahead of ourselves.
Oh, let's get ahead of ourselves.
All right. Well, then she talks about a different type of spore drive.
And more advanced spore drive,
testing. Yeah. One that doesn't destroy the subspace.
The spore drive does not destroy subspace.
Excuse me, not subspace.
No, it doesn't destroy the mycelial. I thought we've been over this. It doesn't destroy the mycelial network. That was Culber that was doing that. Or that was destroying the creatures in the network. Right. It is not, like the spore drive, as far as we know. Well, there was Culber that was doing that in season 2 to those creatures, and then also the mirror stamets was drawing things from the mycelial network, but the spore drive itself doesn't. So I'm curious what this advancement is, like, because it can, I think, kind of go anywhere.
Yeah. I don't know why I can't keep that in my head. Okay, thank you.
I think the advancement is
not having like sentient navigators.
So not having stamets have to do it.
Okay, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the big adaptation on that was when Adira made it so that they didn't need the things in the arms anymore, right?
But he still has to be there.
Yeah, that's true.
Apparently.
And actually, I wonder if the destruction of his home planet is going to make a difference with that. Because that connectedness thing.
I miss the nipple clamps on Ripper.
Lord, I don't.
Okay.
But
I thought, okay. When we first saw the butterfly things on the branch at the beginning of the episode, I thought they were going to be little tardigrades.
Oh, that would be
interesting.
Need more tardigrades. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Right. So we talked about, or we brought up book on Quajon. Shall we discuss that next?
Oh boy, did not see that coming.
Quajon being destroyed. Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah, because they, I think that it was my favorite episode last season when they were on Quajon, but I kind of liked what they were going for, and they kind of expanded that with the guy Kahim, who's kind of like his brother, and he had his son there, and they were doing this like ritual, and I was like, oh, that's cool, more connectedness. And then later on, it's like planet is destroyed. Oh, that made me very sad. And that's how they end the episode. But yeah,
when Ola was looking at it, all I could think of was the guy in the back of the back of the bridge in the Excelsior. I can confirm the location of Praxis, but I cannot confirm the existence of Praxis.
The other thing,
nice.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I wasn't thinking about this when I first watched the credits, and I haven't had a chance to rewatch it. But I think in the credits there is something that looks like an exploding planet, right? So
I was just going to say, I originally thought it was the dilithium planet, right? I originally thought it was, because that looks like it's kind of coming apart too.
But it was Quajon, I think.
But maybe it's...
or maybe the other planets will be destroyed. But yeah, this anomaly, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but it seems pretty frightening. It just kind of comes out of nowhere and destroys everything in its path. Yeah. I guess that station got lucky. Maybe it just clipped it or something.
It was small. Like it's so... Okay, so it was small there, which means that's where it originated. So they're going to find out that station did something, I think, to create that thing. They're going to find out...
I'd actually like it to be naturally occurring. I think that would be interesting.
We did that last time.
Naturally occurring? What I mean by naturally...
the burn. I'm making it.
Yeah, what I mean by naturally occurring is it's just something that comes out of the physics of the universe, not any being causing it. Yeah. But,
bad joke.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, and then we get to the end of it, and I'm thinking, our enemy is gravity?
A gravitational anomaly, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be. You know, in Star Trek 4, our enemy is past humans that hunted whales. So, you know, there's a lot of possible villains.
You know what? If this is... Yeah, I mean, if this is going to be a heavy social commentary about isolationism and dependence on fuel sources...
It's because all those people since the 24th century have not respected the Warp 5 limit. No, probably not.
Yeah. No one respected that ever. Same way
they fixed they fixed
here.
And refitted all the drives off screen. It's fine.
Yeah, Quajon's destroyed. Do we want to... I mean, there's really not much else to say about it. To me, that scene, the ceremony with his nephew was cool.
Yeah,
I
was shocked.
More heartbreaking.
You were shocked.
Yeah, that nephew's dead now, right?
Yeah, so, I think so. Unless they got off the planet for some reason, but yeah, I think they had this scene where it's like, oh, you're getting to know them more. This is great, and then I think they're all dead. Yikes! Yeah. No, and when that happened, I was like, dang, for book, this is kind of like, you know, what happened in the Kelvin timeline with Spock. Like, my home world is gone now, so that's pretty rough. Yeah. That's going to be a thing I hope he has to deal with for a while, because that's not just like, oh, well, home world's gone, moving on. I mean, I'm sure in the next episode they'll deal with some of that, but...
He's just going to drive fast, and then he'll be fine. Remember Detmer?
This is a much bigger thing than what Detmer went through, but yeah.
No. Just get to drive fast, that's all. He's going to pet Grudge a couple times. He'll be all good.
No, I think they're going to go into it in a serious way in the next episode.
Yes, I hope.
Yeah.
The comment about how that space station might have been what made it.
I hadn't thought about that. But it's a repair facility. They're not doing like experiments, right?
Yeah, because nobody ever does things that they're not supposed to in places that they're doing other things.
No, true, but I mean, I think it's not. But oftentimes in Trek, it's like some research station or something. Yeah. Which I thought it was interesting. It's a repair station, so is it kind of like a nicer version of what you get in Enterprise's Dead Stop? Like it's a repair facility.
I was going to say,
yes.
If we would have been there longer, Roxanne Dawson would have been the computer voice.
Yeah.
So. But I thought that was interesting because we haven't really seen like a Starfleet repair facility. Really, we've just seen like it takes place in like space dock or something like that where they get repaired.
Just the space docks, which we saw in this episode and got a nice.
I have to say, the Enterprise callback with the Archer space dock, and I had actually had this spoiled. I knew this was coming, but I was still teary-eyed when Archer's theme was playing. I couldn't help it.
Yeah, I love that. Beautiful.
And was that the Voyager J that was in space dock? I think it might have been.
I think so.
They keep teasing that thing.
Was it?
I want to see that ship.
It looked like it. So,
Janeway, the 52nd generation holograms on it.
Yeah. What did I started talking? Oh, okay. So the idea that it might have been something that was caused by them, let's not say they created it intentionally, made the way the lieutenant was acting, made me see it in a different light when you mentioned
What
that.
do you mean, lieutenant?
Was he lieutenant? The guy was the commander, excuse me.
By the way,
Nahlas.
Did you think of Lee Nahlas from Deep Space Nine Circle
Yes,
Trilogy?
I did.
Okay, I did too.
Immediately. I'm like, I wonder if they meant that.
Well, I don't know, but I think he is the species that's Kima's species from Children of Mars. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
maybe.
And I think
Yeah,
they named it Akozonam. Akozonam, I think it is.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Anyway, but yeah, he seemed very insistent on taking the lead and doing things himself. Yeah.
Well, when he was taking the lead, when they came in with the stuff to help, that didn't bother me. I mean, he wasn't polite about it, but whatever. But pulling a gun on them over this, that's what made me think maybe he has something to hide. And he needs to get out before whatever the thing
Could
is
be.
that he's hiding is found out.
Now he's dead, so we may not.
Well, we don't know. Yeah.
But I totally hadn't thought about that they could have started at the station or been because of something that they did. See, I thought this was like an existing anomaly where its edges had hit the station and then it was expanding outward toward Krajan or something. But I guess I want it to be naturally occurring, but maybe it's not. Is the Nexus still around? Will we see the Nexus?
Well, the next episode's called Anomaly, is it not?
It is.
It is.
I think we're going to have the first Star Trek episode ever that has the exact same title as a previous Star Trek episode, the Enterprise one.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be all about that anomaly, I guess.
At least it's not the same series.
No, but still.
Same name in the same series, yeah.
So what you're saying is that they're going to the Delphic Expanse next week. Cool.
Exactly.
Okay, I can dig this.
Resurrection of the Sphere
Maybe.
Builders. Yeah.
No, oh, nice. I love it.
Mhm.
Temporal War. They've been talking about the Temporal War, man. Maybe.
It'll be reignited.
Actually, yeah, they're past the Temporal War now, so yeah.
Or are
That's
they?
history. Cool.
No, they probably are.
Oh, yeah. No one's past the Temporal War. It's always going on. So this brings us to talking about the idea that Discovery is responsible for rebuilding the Federation or creating the circumstances by which the Federation can be rebuilt. And like the president said, no pressure, right?
Yeah, no pressure.
That's
and that's because they're the only one with a spore drive currently, right? That can really go out there quickly.
well, and they figured out the burn and all the rest. I don't know. I felt like there's been plenty of times when Kirk or Picard save the universe, but it doesn't. I don't know. It felt a little too on the nose for me, which is maybe going to be something about how the president and Burnham are interacting. So
I do have to say before I forget, there's a 5-month time gap. Let's have a novel in that 5 months.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
please.
I really hope so. But yeah, like I guess they've been out and about doing things. They've gained 21 Federation members. Is that all because of Discovery or other ships going out there at warp and contacting planets? I don't know. I think that's probably not all Discovery. That's a lot in 5 months. But yeah, they've been kind of gradually rebuilding stuff, and they've mostly uncloaked Federation headquarters.
Yeah, that was
what does that mean?
weird.
Mostly uncloaked? What does that mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to me.
It's like my front door is mostly closed.
It can be
Like, I don't know,
mostly
what does that mean?
closed.
It's
Your
either
door can be
open or it's
mostly
not.
closed.
Like, I don't know.
It's a
either
job.
But
closed
yeah,
or it's
I
open.
noticed that, and it seemed like an intentional thing. I don't know. Maybe there are just certain things that still need to be cloaked. Yeah, they didn't really answer it here.
Maybe that was just a foreshadowing of what they were about to see with the Archer station, and that was like the last cloaked thing.
And
it
then
was
they
for
uncloaked
effect.
it. Oh, that's possible.
Although it's really a weird way to go around it. But that's the only thing I could think of is why they would say that.
Yeah.
But
By the way, I think it's still really interesting that this Federation headquarters is basically like just out in space. It's not attached to a planet or anything like that. You have Starfleet Academy there, the space dock, and it's all just like in this piece of space that they've chosen. I just think that's a fascinating idea because, you know, I think oftentimes, I mean, like the home base, right, is Earth or Bajor, like some planet or something, right? But the home base is like the middle of space. I don't know. I just find that concept interesting. It's different.
yeah, there's a usefulness to that. Going back to the Kelvin timeline, Spock mentions that about the space station, that how if it's not attached to or orbiting a planet, there's no concern about
the cultural preferences or
that's
whatever.
what I'm looking
But
for.
the other thing is, like,
Yeah.
if they wanted to, they could just move the whole headquarters, right? They could just strap an engine to it, and like so the actual like Federation headquarters, unlike Earth, could like really move somewhere different. So I don't know.
Speaking of which, we did not hear that Earth was one of those numbered.
We did not. I wondered about Earth here as well. If we'll see Earth this season. Yeah.
Yeah, so we got Starfleet Academy back. We got that really awesome scene with the Archer Station giving Enterprise some love, which is appreciated because it doesn't get enough. Shall we talk about the President and Burnham? Was there anything else you want to say about this Federation station or anything like that?
No.
Okay, all right. Well, let's dig into this, whatever's going on between the President and Burnham and this rivalry and things going on.
I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to a few bumping heads. I love how petty Burnham is in this. I really love how petty Burnham is. Because she's petty a couple of times. And it's nice. I like it. She's petty when she calls over in the middle of a crisis situation and thinks it's important enough to be like, did you lie to him? Because it really doesn't matter. But she's petty enough to bring that up in the middle of a crisis moment.
That was a very interesting choice. And is that like a line that's just between her and the President, or could everyone on the bridge hear that?
That was my question.
She said open a channel to the President. So I think it's between them, but you could absolutely interpret it that it is so that everybody is hearing that conversation because it is in the middle of the bridge.
Yeah, that was interesting.
But not only that, it was so glorious because her pettiness was just oozing from her mouth when she said, when she's like, so I'm not being considered for the Voyager J anymore, and she's like, no, you're not, and she's like, that's okay, Discovery's my home, and I wouldn't have taken it anyways. Oh yeah, that's definitely said by somebody who's protesting a bit too much. She was definitely hurt that she was off of that list.
I think
you could
so.
tell. I loved it. It was awesome.
But, that was.
But I did love that too. Yeah. I think I probably would have said the same.
But my question in that thing though as well is, why is Burnham talking about the Kobayashi Maru test like she's taken it? Because she didn't go through Starfleet Academy. She didn't go through Starfleet Academy. She went through the Vulcan Science Academy, and then she came on the ship, and Georgiou brought her on the ship and made her a Starfleet officer.
So I would put this question back. Maybe she knows a lot about the test and what it's about, and she is putting that forward, much like the Federation president put forward that she knew all about this culture when maybe she didn't. Like, does it matter? She knows what the point of it is. So
the way that Burnham was talking about it though was like,
no, it made it seem like she has, but I think she probably hasn't. But she knows enough about it to talk about it in that way to make that point. And I'm saying just like in a similar way to what the president was saying, like, does it matter if I don't know the culture? If I've gotten through to this guy, does it matter if she hasn't taken it if she knows the point of it?
See, my impression on the way that the president said that is like, why would it matter? Like, my impression was that the president did know that stuff.
I think if you're evasive on a question like that, the answer is that she was lying about it, but it's like, it doesn't matter. Because if someone asked you like, oh, is that true? You'd be like, yeah, I know that stuff. You wouldn't be like, does it matter? I mean, saying does it matter implies that you're saying, I lied, but it doesn't matter. Like, we got the results.
No, the reason the president asked that is because why would Burnham be asking the president of that? Why would that matter to Burnham? It shouldn't matter in any way, shape, or form to Burnham about that. It's completely does not matter to her in any way. Right?
I was
so why does it matter? Yeah. But I mean, like, we don't know. She could have been lying, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if she was, if she did just read his file. Yeah. Right? But that's some pretty obscure information to get from just his file.
It is. It's true.
Because they talked about some type of not a water park, but like a waterfall or something like that. Yeah. I guess that's just what I pictured when they mentioned it, right? Like a waterfall or some type of geological
something a lot of people
formation.
don't know about. Like at first I was like, wow, she just reads up on a lot of cultures, visit a lot of planets maybe, but I don't know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a really good question. Yeah.
The point was to get him to put down the gun, and she did. So
so why does it matter?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what diplomacy is. Like you use whatever tools at your disposal for diplomacy.
Not whatever.
I wouldn't say whatever, but I think within reason there are things that you can do if it's to save lives, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before we get too far past it, I just want to say about Kobayashi Maru. I always understood that to be you took that when you were committed to the command line. Mm-hmm. Because like Saavik was already a lieutenant when we were introduced to it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Troy took it as a lieutenant commander. So it's possible that
what we saw her take in TNG was different than the Kobayashi Maru.
Yeah.
That was a different test.
It was the same point, though.
Yeah, but it wasn't the same thing. It's some. Yeah. Anyway.
I always thought that was just an updated Kobayashi Maru or a personalized Kobayashi Maru. Okay.
So yeah, the Kobayashi Maru test could be like something different for everybody, and it's like this general term like Kleenex, right? Where like Kleenex is a name brand. But I mean, like, I guess that me as a fan, the Kobayashi Maru is a specific test that involves the scenario of the Kobayashi Maru ship.
Well,
right?
So my point still stands, because if Saavik was a lieutenant, she wasn't in the academy anymore. And it appeared that she was just making the choice to go over to the command line. Yeah, it doesn't. None of this matters. Nothing matters.
I'm not saying that.
No, very nihilistic there.
But even still, like, Burnham wouldn't have had time to take it, okay? Because like when we met her in Discovery Season 1, Episode 1, they were just talking about putting her on the command track at that time, and then the Klingon War started 15 seconds later.
They were talking about her getting a command. She was already command track. She was first officer.
Yeah, you know what? She was already first officer. So maybe while she was on the Shenzhou, she might have done that. Okay, that's possible.
We got 7 years there between when she left Vulcan and when we meet her. And also...
That's fair, yep.
Yeah, you know, who's to say the Vulcan Science Academy doesn't have something similar?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it is almost a logic puzzle in some ways, and it is a puzzle that...
I don't think the Vulcan Science Academy would have a test like that, because they use logic in situations as it is. Like, the general consensus would be, it is not logical to sacrifice the ship to go into there to save 10 people on this, like that kind of thing. Like, they would just be a part of how they're trained to be captains and whatnot, right? And the emotional instability of all other races in the galaxy is why you would have that in... Starfleet, right? So
they told Starfleet to do it. Okay, I'll give you that. But
yeah, she could have taken
Burnham
it before.
Definitely could have taken it. Yeah,
it could have been.
Yeah, before the Battle at the Binary Stars. Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
I guess I always just assumed that it was a cadet thing, because Cadet Kirk was the one who took it.
Right.
But you are right that it was Lieutenant Saavik that took it.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just which college of the academy you're coming out of if you're command track from the get-go.
But that always felt like a cadet too, because that's a cadet ship.
Yeah.
Right? That's in Star Trek 2. Like, Spock is captain of a cadet ship.
Right, but they didn't do that on the Enterprise. They did it in a simulation room.
This is fun.
No, I think we need to move on, to be honest.
Okay, sorry.
You're right.
One last thing. Yeah. They talked about the Kobayashi Maru without mentioning Kirk, and I was very glad for that.
Okay.
So... Well, it's always,
Yeah, and I mean, it's, like 900 years before. Who knows what they even know about Kirk, so.
Yeah, true.
Anyway.
We haven't talked about Tilly and Adira.
Yeah.
I thought Adira was acting very Tilly, and Tilly had taken on a bit of... a
mentoring role, yeah.
In a way. I really love that.
I thought that was interesting.
I want to know how their clothes changed mid-transport, because when they left the bridge, they were wearing their uniforms.
Oh, yeah.
And when they got to the station, they were wearing like this black leather thing. And that's like mid-transport that changed.
Advanced technology.
Yeah, the transporter dresses you now?
Maybe. See, I hadn't even noticed that. That's interesting. I'd have to rewatch it. But
maybe as you're being... You can program the transporter so that you have what you need when you go into...
But since we're talking about Tilly... I love that she's a lieutenant, but God, when are we going to get the show when Harry Kim gets promoted? I swear, because I put out on Twitter, like they had a
yes, I saw it.
Yeah, they had a photo of Tilly. I'm like, I'm so glad Tilly is a lieutenant. 100% of the responses were like sadness that Harry Kim never became a lieutenant. I'm like, oh, I know it's sad. Let's get that show. Anyway, but no, Tilly has gone through a lot of growth since we first saw her as like a cadet on this odd ship, right? And she always had that potential, and she wanted to be a captain. And I just love where she's come to. I mean, there wasn't a huge amount for her to do in this episode, but I'm hoping that we'll see more. I love what she's doing, and mentoring Adira is pretty cool too.
Well, that goes through our list. Other than I have a quick Chrissy's History Corner.
Chrissy's History Corner.
I didn't sing-song that right.
That's okay.
Was there anything else on your list, Brandon? Because you had mentioned.
I just wanted to point out that I liked, this is just my general thing, that Tilly's like, I can do this for you, but you want to get Adira because she's going to do it quicker because she's used to this, right? So
I like that too.
because Tilly doesn't have to solve every problem herself.
No, Tilly is different than Burnham. No,
Yeah.
her approach is definitely different from Burnham, and that's fine. Yeah.
No, you can tell the writers very specifically position that way because I thought of it immediately.
Yeah.
So yeah, good writing.
I'm looking forward to this president. I think my favorite new character is the president.
Yeah.
And I think they played with expectations because the president said something in her speech that I'm like, oh crap, this is just going to be another one of those things when she's like, we're dealing with these people here, and like just 5 months ago, these people were antagonizing us, and I'm like, why are you saying that in a speech like this? You don't bring that thing up right now. This is not the place to bring that up. Right. So I thought that was a bad thing for the president to say. So I thought they were going to go with the bad president, but I loved how the president developed over the episode. And I think this is going to be a great character. I love this actress. She's awesome in Man in the High Castle. Like, she's a fantastic actress. So
Yeah, I have to say, like, I think it's toward the end, the scene between the president and Burnham where they're talking about like her command style. I thought that was wonderful. I thought that was one of the best things in Discovery because it really goes to some of the things that Burnham really needs to work on. And there was a lot of wisdom that this president had. It was great. Like I said, I love Burnham, but I love Burnham like with all the flaws and knows that she needs to improve and could have done things better. And I just love that scene. Yeah. Really looking forward to it.
I don't know how to feel about her yet. I did think she was going to end up being a bad Admiral style president.
A president?
A president, yeah.
I didn't think that at all. I thought that she
I don't
would
think
be
so.
good.
No.
But, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good. Justin, anything?
Chrissy's history.
Yeah, let's do your history corner, and then I have
All right.
Canon Connection.
Okay, so I have to thank Justin for bringing this up because it went right over my head listening to it. It didn't even click for me, but I'll blame that on having only had the time to see it once. So yeah, there was. All right, so the president mentions a Pyrrhic victory, and a Pyrrhic victory is something that it's a phrase that is often used, but it isn't necessarily given context. So allow me to give context. So after Rome has taken control of a great deal of the peninsula of Italy, okay, there was, and this is, so we're looking at the 3rd century BC, right? There is the area of the toe and the heel of the boot and Sicily that are being primarily held by Greeks and Greek colonies, okay? And they call it Magna Graecia, Greater Greece. So at the very heel of the boot, there is a city called Tarentum. And Tarentum was being attacked by Rome to conquer it, right? And they call for aid to the city of Epirus, which is on the other side of the Adriatic, okay, from there. And Epirus has a king named Pyrrhus. So Pyrrhus of Epirus, which is kind of fun little alliteration there. But Pyrrhus is like a 3rd cousin of Alexander the Great and really thought that he needed to make his name in the family to be like Alexander the Great. Okay. He thought a great deal of himself more than he should have. So Tarentum calls for help from Epirus. Okay. And, right. Tarentum calls for help from Epirus. And Pyrrhus comes. Now, some of the Greeks in the area around Tarentum have already, I don't want to say surrendered to the Romans, but it is basically that they've acceded to the Romans taking over and they're fine with it. So they're not enthused about the Epirites coming over to try to help this because they know Rome's going to win. And so just, it's fine. Rome's going to win. So we come to the year 280 BC and Pyrrhus lands with 25,000 men and 20 elephants, and he meets a Roman force of 50,000. Now, this is the first time that the Romans see elephants, and so they have no idea what to do with them, and it scares a lot of them and is important to why Pyrrhus does so well at first.
I think it's kind of wild that elephants were part of like ancient warfare, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
I mean
tanks, ancient tanks. So. That's what it was.
Important for Hannibal as well, right?
You remember what Game of Thrones when Cersei's all ticked up? She doesn't have any elephants.
Yes.
Well, I was really hoping for elephants.
Elephants. Yeah. So, but this was the first time that the Romans had seen them in battle. They knew they'd been used by Alexander the Great. That wasn't that much earlier. They were aware that elephants existed, but I mean, imagine coming upon a fully armored elephant that's coming at you.
They had armor on the elephants?
With the enemy army.
Wow.
You have some, yeah. You'd have around the face and the trunk and the shoulders. Sometimes, I mean, not always. It depends on how much money the city has and all of that. But the problem with elephants is that they can't be controlled. Okay, so they would they had somebody sitting on the back of the elephant. In the Indian tradition, Asian Indian tradition, they're called a mahout. I don't know what the Epirites would have called them, but basically their job is to kill the elephant if it turns on the army. So they have a very long spear, and they sit where they can just go right into the elephant's skull in the little spot where it connects with the spine. And that sounds terrible, but again, think of yourself as you've got this elephant and it's turning around and charging on your own people. And also horses and elephants don't generally like each other. So when the cavalry comes up with the elephants, the cavalry gets to be less controlled, the horses. So he's got 25,000 men and 20 elephants. Romans come in with 50,000 men. The Romans were losing until Pyrrhus's elephants turned around, and they turned on his army, and they could not kill them all quick enough. And so Pyrrhus loses a massive amount of men to his own elephants. So both sides lose between 8 and 12,000. Okay. And this is considered to be the first battle of the Punic War. Because the Epirites come in with so many fewer, okay, they are, it's almost half of the Epirite troops, whereas it's only about a quarter of the Roman ones. Okay. But because of how much they had pushed the Romans away from Tarentum, it was considered a win. So he loses half of his forces, but he kind of won. Now, he comes back the next year, does the same thing. Again, he pushes them away from Tarentum, but it's such a costly victory for him that he doesn't follow up on it. So they have to ask for terms. The Romans say, get out. That's the first term. They do the same thing to Hannibal later, too. Get out, and then we'll tell you the rest of what we have to say. So he does that. They make the arrangements. He does come back again in 275, so 4 years later, but this time he gets completely routed. And that is one of the last cities of Magna Graecia to go over to the Romans. And that also ends up being somewhere that Hannibal camps out for a while during the Second Punic War, because it's a port. So that's where Pyrrhic victory comes from.
Oh, very cool.
Nifty.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it was interesting the way the president used it in the episode, because I guess it kind of illuminates what she's thinking. So she said, "Today you were prepared to sacrifice the many to save the few. Everyone could have died, but they didn't. One day they might. That is precisely the kind of Pyrrhic victory Kobayashi Maru trains you to avoid." So, yeah, sacrifice that, and it's interesting she put it that way: sacrifice the many to save the few. When we think about Vulcans or people with Vulcan training wanting to think about, saving the many and sacrificing the few, but yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, but thank you. That was really interesting to learn about.
Well, thanks for making it click that it was
no
there.
Problem.
You got canon connections.
Yeah, I'm not going to go over all the canon connections. Actually, there wasn't a huge amount, but one that I particularly liked, it's one of my favorites, is the Heisenberg compensator gets a shout out here.
Yes.
And I just love the Heisenberg compensator because it's something they invented in TNG, because I think people were sending them letters about the Heisenberg uncertainty principle and the transporter, which at its most, I guess, basic form is when it comes to the smallest things at the quantum level, you can't know the position and the speed of anything. So like, how can you transport all the molecules and stuff? And they made up this Heisenberg compensator. Anyway, I like that it got a shout out because it's one of my favorite like technobabble fixes. This just 2 words. It just compensates for all that. It's fine. So anyway, I don't know if you guys had other canon stuff that came up.
I don't.
Then let's finish by singing Archer's theme. Da 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 da. Okay.
I'm surprised you guys didn't say it because I roll my eyes at
Tribble?
everything grudge related. And I'm surprised you guys didn't.
Oh, I said I liked seeing grudge. Oh, I forgot about the Tribble too. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, the Tribble. Yes, I'm surprised you guys didn't call it the Felis Catus line. So,
oh, you think they were just
because that was from Data's
referencing?
poem.
Well, I mean, it is the name of the species,
Yes.
but I didn't think of it.
But it's also from the poem.
Okay,
So.
Yes.
I didn't think of the poem. Yeah.
I didn't either. Wow.
Okay.
Falling down on the job as Trek fans here, so.
Chrissy, it's the day that 2 different episodes dropped that we had to prepare
I know.
for, so, you know.
Oh, I know. Yep. And that's all right. That's all right.
I'm fortunate. I had the day off work today, so I got to watch both episodes twice. So
Only watched them once.
I had the day off. I was not working. I was not at a place where I had to work today, but I still had to work at home, and I still didn't get stuff done.
you guys had to work today. Sucks to be you.
Well, I cleared most of my schedule for this important podcasting thing.
Yeah.
To keep the work at bay.
I have to work this weekend. I work Friday,
Probably
Saturday,
done.
Sunday
No,
this weekend.
okay.
So
That's all right.
Sucks to be you Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
sucks to be me Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
But it sucks to be us
Could
today.
be worse. Yeah, that's all right. I do not mind finding the time to watch and talk Trek, ever. All right, so final thoughts.
Love the episode. Hope
Bring it
we
on.
see Larry, the Tribble crew member, next week.
Yes. Perfect.
Donald the Tribble.
Larry, like, you
Donald.
know, how Rock Talk wants to call the planet Larry in this week's Prodigy episode. Okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
But no,
I get where you're going. The Tribble on
I
his head.
loved it.
Yes.
I didn't say this in this episode, and I know, Brandon, you would disagree, but for me, this was one of the best season premieres that we've seen in Trek. I loved it.
I thought the season 3 premiere was better. I really liked that Hope Is You Part 1. I loved that whole idea of Burnham just getting used to the future,
we talked
you
about
know?
it when we talked about the episode, but the one thing I really didn't like about that episode is how many people they were vaporizing. Like, that bugged me, so I'd put this one above that. Even though it is a great episode overall.
Sure, yeah. It was a good episode. I really enjoyed this one. I think it's great. Like, aside from the
Every
intro,
time there's a spore
that was
jump,
great.
if they use the same sound effect, I'm just going to laugh because I know
You're gonna be so
Brandon's
mad at me for
ears are
bringing that
bleeding.
Yep.
Now
That's
it
pretty
sounds
much
like a
it.
chicken.
Jump.
Or a turkey, maybe.
the turkey drive.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Drop that turkey into overdrive.
Okay.
That's what they
Burnham's-
attached to the
That's
thing.
Burnham's new line. Forget
Oh my
Let's
God.
I love
Fly.
Let's Fly.
It's drop that turkey into overdrive.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry, just writing something down here. All right. So then that is that for Discovery Season 4, Episode 1. I can't believe there's been 4 seasons of Discovery already.
I know. It's so bizarre.
Yeah. Justin, where can people find you when you're not investigating how many Tribble crew members we have on board?
I really hope we have
and what
one.
their
That would be
names are.
awesome. All right. And Brandon will roll his eyes, but I'll be pumping my fist at the screen. Okay.
I am rolling my eyes already.
Nice. Yeah. You're pre-rolling your eyes. So you can find me on Twitter. I'm at TrekFan4747, where I tweet about nothing but Star Trek. And you can find me on Facebook in the Federation Council Chambers. That is our group for UFP, where you can talk about this and any UFP episode. Hope you join us there.
All right. And Brandon, where can people find you when you're not looking for a way to improve sound effects on science fiction shows?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter. No, just kidding. You can't find me there. Jeez.
You can only find you here and other podcasts.
Yes, I'll do that again here. Old habits.
Yeah.
You can find me here on the network with another show called Franchise Fatigue, which is all about movies, remakes, and sequels. And you can find me over on the Fandom Podcast Network, as well as in our own independent feed with a show called Good Evening, an Alfred Hitchcock podcast, where we go through all of the Grandmaster's work in chronological order. Chrissy, where can people find you when you're not crossing that fine line between a pendulum and a wrecking ball?
Yeah. That was a very vivid image.
Yeah, that was a good one. Right. So in addition to here
Because
on
Chrissy's like a wrecking ball.
yeah, I was waiting for that. Okay. I have nothing to say to that. Okay. In addition to here on Infinite Diversity, you can find me on History with the Szilagyi here on the UFP Network. That's a short twice-a-week history podcast I do with my fellow historian partner, Jason. And I'm happy to chat about our shows in the Federation Council Chambers on Facebook. Also, I'm on Twitter at the Goddess Livia, that's TheGoddessLivia, where I tweet about Star Trek history and leftist politics, not necessarily in that order. Brandon, why don't you tell us about the other shows on the network?
Well, you can find Amy Nelson, Ken Tripp, Patrick Devlin discussing All Good Things, which is covering all Star Trek all the time. Rhea Papageorgiou, Kevin Scharf, Amy Nelson, and Joe Keegan discuss all TNG all the time on board the Galaxy class. Chris Tribuzio, Patrick Devlin, and Casey Pettitt talk all things under the Disney umbrella with Mickey's Marvels. And Lance Laster and Kavante Chillis discuss all things that make Arrow Arrow on Always Hold On to Arrow. And Ken Tripp and Zach Moore discuss cryptozoology with a fun and lighthearted look at the cultural phenomenon of Bigfoot on Sasquatch.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in to Infinite Diversity. Thank you to our executive producers, Ken Tripp, Tony Robinson, and Zach Moore. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music, and another thanks to Tony Robinson for the awesome show art. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, and please subscribe. And if you're not on Apple Podcasts, you can rate and review us wherever you listen as well. And let us know that you've done a review. Take a screenshot of it, and we'll be happy to read that on the air here as we do the Apple Podcast reviews when we get them, and we haven't had one in a while. So, when you're done listening to this, just pull out your phone, do a review quick. Hopefully a good one. If you'd like to reach out, you can find the network on Twitter at UFP Earth, or our show specifically at IDIC Podcast. You can also talk about any and all of the UFP podcasts in our Facebook group called the Federation Council Chambers. Or you can email us at infinitediversity@ufp.earth. On the next episode, we'll be talking about the second episode of Discovery Season 4, named Anomaly. Until then, peace and long life.
That's not the right sound effect.
This has been a production of MTMR Media Works.
And you guys are going to be... I got to turn this down. This is a little too hot here. Poutine. Poutine. You guys are going to be so mad at me when I point this out to you, I think.
I don't know. Maybe I'll shrug. But
all right, then.
We'll get there.
Yes.
Are you going to do it like right at the top or what?
Right at the first thing. I got something here right at the beginning.
Okay, so ask... I don't know about that because what I was going to say in my thing at first has to do with people outside North America not seeing the episode. So different.
Believe me, I won't just jump in. Like I'll find a spot for it, but it'll be near the top of the episode. So
all right.
So, when I ask you your thoughts, okay,
got it. All right, let me try to listen to mine. I need to remember my login. Is that it? Or usually logged in on my TV, so I need to... Oh, come on. Oh, no, I know what my password is. Hold on.
Your password is I love Esri Dax so much.
I wish I would have thought of that.
Okay, I'm looking something up because I want to bring up the character's name here. Give me a second here.
Okay. General Grievous?
Are you still...
It's still my point on something or no, not Grievous.
Okay, because I got a couple of things I want to say about the opening.
Okay, you keep going then.
Oh, okay, all right.
Oh, here it is. I got it here, but yes, that's fine.
Okay, so just a couple other things that aren't complaints about the opening. I guess I didn't complain about the... Take that out.
I complained about the opening.
Yeah, okay.